6 rebounds. You kind of dismissed that. Now at this point in the season, he's a vital part of your team. Can you talk about him and what he means to the team
He's
now?
been, since the change, different habits, different body, different mentality, almost a fear of, I got to do this now. He's a totally different player. I'm proud of him. He went from 35 minutes in a season to being nominated all-conference. And if any of you thought, after watching us in Canada, that he would have an impact on our season, then you need to be drug tested. So I'm proud of him and how far he's come. And the greatest thing now is it's not me saying, well, I'm coaching him up. He's not a very good player. I'm just getting him to overachieve. He's going to make money playing basketball. How about that? And here's a young man that 35 minutes he played last year. So, proud of him.
We got to see you guys practice.
Drug test, John, in Canada.
I would have never said it, so I wouldn't have needed drug testing.
When we saw you guys practice in preparation for Canada, there was at least one time where you really had to get on him about not being serious and kind of cutting up. He was making Ennis laugh. How much is he? How far has he come in that regard?
Well, he knows there was, you know, with the he had no room, and that's what I said. It scared him into being straight. It's kind of like, you know, you're scared into doing the right things, and he did it. He had a choice between beating it, getting out of here, or changing, and he changed. See, the biggest thing you come back to, you have to change habits and change the way you do business if you want to get different results. And he was doing the same thing over and over. You know, if it got too heavy a practice, let's crack up a little bit. Let's start laughing because this stuff's getting too hot and heavy. And that all changed, and now you see a different player. You know, for me as a coach, I just want to see players max out. That's all I'm trying to see. Let me see them max out. And I don't know if I've ever coached a player that has gotten more out of his body and his skill level and his athleticism than Josh Harrellson. And I've coached a lot of players. So that's as big a compliment as I can say to him.
He also said, John, that he would give up his senior season if that meant Ennis could play. Did you know he's that kind of person?
Which was neat for him to say. And I believe he meant it. And I believe he meant it. And but it's been, you know, I think a lot of people thought we lost 5 first-round draft picks. They're not going to let Ennis play. They're not going to be anything this year. A lot of people thought that. And we started a little bit, and all of a sudden maybe we're better than we thought, but the reality of it is we are what our record says we are. But I'll tell you what, guys are starting to go play better than they've ever played in their lives. And that's all I want. At the end of the year, has he ever played better in his life? Then if that's how he's playing, then, you know, it's a pretty good deal for all of our staff.
When you first got here, was he one of the guys that maybe you sat down with and said, you might want to think about things? I don't know how well you're going to work with us.
No. No, there were issues other than just basketball that were the reason we sat down with guys. So, and you know, it was all intertwined. Who could accept their role on our team? I knew some guys would never accept the role, so there was no reason for you to be here, and that was part of it. Some of it was, you know, maybe other things that I said, you know, this isn't going to be the right place for you. But no, Josh was never, I think he was afraid that was going to happen, but it was never.
John, you guys are obviously have a much better record at home than you do on the road. It's dramatically different. How do you explain that? Because statistically, you guys are shooting a lot better at home from 3.
I don't have the answer. I wish I had it. The good news is the NCAA tournament's played on neutral sites. What's our record at home and in neutral sites? Anybody know?
I think UConn's the only loss.
So what's the record? Neutral,
Neutral,
19
and home.
and 5 or something thereabouts. 19 and 6.
No.
I mean, I'm sorry. That was
Neutral and
yeah.
Neutral and home. Boy, you guys are mathematicians.
17, 18, and 1,
Yeah,
something like
17
that.
and 1.
17 and 1. I like that. Since the NCAA tournament's not going to be played on the road. So I always say, I don't know what you learn from road games. you try to toughen yourself up, but at the end of the day, that's not the environment you're in when you're going after the ultimate prize. So, we'll see. Wish we'd have won a couple of those road games. We had our chances. If we would have, then we'd have been top 10. We'd have been a top 10 team. And I'm telling you, if we were top 10, there are a lot of bad teams out there. And so we are in that, and now we've got to try to take it up a notch and stay hungry and see what happens.
Brandon's numbers are a lot better at home too. Is that typical of a
I tell you what, I
freshman?
think he's played well on the road too. Maybe not shot as well, but he hasn't been the issue. We've had 2 or 3 guys go comatose on the road, and some of it's inexperience, some of it's just being young, some of it's maybe the anxiety from we have to win, we're Kentucky, we have to win every game, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. What I'm trying to tell them, quit worrying about winning. Let's just play hard, play harder than the other team's playing, and let's execute together. We do that, let the other stuff fall where it falls.
Vandy had to be almost perfect at home to beat you guys, too. Talk about that.
We played good, though.
Yeah.
They played good, and we
Right.
played good.
But now coming in here,
They're playing better than they did when they were there. They got another kid, Walker, playing that's going to help them. There was a big-time player for them a year ago. They're a better team. Hopefully, we're a better team. But we played well there. We went down the stretch and turned it over 3 times and had the same guy shoot 2 balls. You're not our shooter. And he missed 2 balls. So there were 5 attempts, 3 turnovers, 2 tough shots. One of them, I think it was Terrence, rebounded and got an and 1 and bailed us. But so hopefully now we're playing a little bit better. But I'll tell you, you never know. I mean, you don't, when you're coaching a really young team, you think you know what to expect. I don't know who I was talking to the other day, a coach. He said, we did everything. The practices were great. The shoot-around was great. We went out and laid an egg. And I said, that's these kids. I mean, you just don't know. I mean, hopefully we'll be ready to play. And the crowd against Florida was ridiculous. It was an electric building to be in and a great environment. And I'm hoping for Josh, being senior night, people come early and are hyped up and help us play as well as we can play.